Hi folks, this is Karim Rauf from IT Visualizer channel. Today we will continue the Transformers lab. This is the 17th video. Today we will briefly create a virtual machine and join it to the domain and begin testing two things we have done in previous videos. The first thing is Microsoft user virtualization experience. We will test it on a workstation that had joined the domain recently. And then we will also test the Microsoft local administrator password solution. Okay, this is also within my previous video. As we said before briefly, these two features, the first feature, it's a replacement, or as Microsoft says, it is a replacement for Active Directory roaming profiles. In brief, Microsoft user virtualization experience, it is something or a feature that Microsoft recommend for roaming the profiles or the Windows user profile setting. For example, if user K, for example, wants to log in on a machine PC, let's say it A, machine A, the user K logs into this machine and do some changes in the Windows settings, something in the shortcuts, something in the themes, something in the notepad setting, a lot of features in the Windows, change in general the Windows setting or even Office application setting. This is also supported by Microsoft user virtualization experience. Actually, it supports a lot of features, a lot of applications. It's used through templates. I will dedicate some videos for this applications or this setting. We'll do it later. So the user K, when he logs off on the machine A, he wants, when he logs into the machine B, needs all of his desktop setting, application setting, shortcuts, everything, he needs it to be on machine B. So this is briefly what Microsoft user visualization experience does. This is for the setting. As for the for example, the shortcuts or there is some files on desktop, I think this is needed to be used by folder redirection option in the group policy, but actually we will see now how it is mainly this feature makes roaming of all of the Windows setting and application setting with the user. Okay, and the other feature, Microsoft local administrator password solution. This solution is done by Microsoft to manage from a central location all of the local administrator user accounts on all of the workstations and servers, and change the passwords of all of these local administrator accounts automatically based on some interval of time that is set up through the group policy, and to save all of these passwords in the Active Directory computer objects. As we said before, if you have, for example, 70 or 80 workstations and you need to manage all of the local administrator accounts on these machines, this utility can do this automatically through the group policy and through agents installed on those machines, and every password will be for this workstation and domain will be saved to its computer object properties attribute tab. Okay, for more info, please return to my previous video on how to install this utility and how to configure the group policy and everything concerning this solution. It's a very good solution. As we said before, even if the password for every machine will be different than the other one. For example, if you have 70 or 80 machines, each one of them will have a different password than the other. So this reduces the risk of any hacker. If he knows one password, he will not be able to be knowing the other one. And actually, these passwords are changed every interval of time. For example, if you give an expiry date for 90 days, this will be changed automatically. The passwords will be changed every 90 days. So today we will create a virtual machine and join it to domain and test both solutions and see how they work. So let's begin. So here, before, let's see a little thing here. This is a documentation for Microsoft on how to test Microsoft user virtualization experience. Here you say on the first computer A, you will when open desktop and try to move the taskbar to a different location and change the default fonts for Windows, and then we will open a text file or a notepad and set the format word wrap on. Okay. For the behavioral applications, we will not use this one. I will do it in some videos later. Okay. And this disable account synchronize and roaming profiles. I think I didn't know how to use this one. And then after changing the setting on computer A, we will log off. Okay. And then it will be syncing this setting to the UVE setting folder that we have. This is the location where all of the setting of the user is saved. Okay. And actually it will be saved after log off or exit. And then we will log into another machine, which is B. This is the new virtual machine we will use to log in to the domain. Okay, and then use the same user profile to log into machine B or computer B. Then open desktop and verify that all of the settings that we have done on computer A is transferred to computer B. And then we will make vice versa. We will change some setting on computer B, and we will see if when log in on A it is changed also. So we will do it vice versa, or in two ways. So let's begin the lab. Here this is computer A, or the first workstation. We will use this user profile to make the setting that we want to change and test it on another computer or another virtual machine. You will do it step by step. First, there is a problem. Actually, the taskbar, I have already locked it through the group policy, so we will not be able to take the taskbar and put it in another location. So the first setting we will not be able to change it. This is the first one. As for the default fonts, I didn't see a way to change the fonts from the Windows itself. It can be done through registry keys, but I didn't succeed. Also, I prefer to do it in Windows setting or through a setting in the Windows. So the one that we will able to test is to open a text file and type some setting and open the warp font on, and see this setting will be transferred with the user when we log into another machine. Actually, I need to pass this quickly because this is my attempts to see if I can change the fonts. I didn't succeed. Here is I'm trying to change the default font, but I didn't succeed in this. So this is the font, regular fonts. Okay. So also I didn't succeed. You can do this, and as I said before, I can't. Taskbar is locked. Okay, so I can't change it. These are all my attempts trying to make some changes here. Okay, let's see this one. I think I didn't make the notepad. So let's first see if I make the notepad warp on. I think just a minute. I think I did this. Just a minute. Okay. Let's see if this is done. Okay, I think just a minute. Okay, let's see. Okay, as I said before, the taskbar here is locked. I have it locked on through the group policy, so I can't change it. And for the fonts, there is no way to change the default Windows fonts, only through registry keys, and I don't prefer to do this. And as for the testing for this one, what normally Microsoft documents say, you will just make a new document like this, text file and go to this and then type some things, and then in the format font we'll click on warp, okay, and save the document and see when we log into the second machine to see if this setting is there or not. This is the only setting I verify, or the only setting I can test, or I was able to test it. Okay, so now we will test this. We will go through, we log into the second virtual machine. We have to join it to the domain first. Here we'll go to the second one. Okay, this is number 2. Actually, the process is simple. We will just again do what we did in the previous video. We will just open or just power on the virtual machine. I am just changing the RAM, so because I don't have a lot of RAM to use, so I am just giving it 1 RAM, and this is enough. For the LTCSC Windows 10, it's not consuming a lot of RAM, and this is also my recommendation for anyone to use it. This is very not consuming RAM like other Windows 10 versions. So here I'm just changing the RAM, and then I will power on the virtual machine, and then I will change the name of this PC to reflect the name that I need, which will be HP in the domain, which is SP8100 EPC bot 2. This is the computer object, or the name of the computer object that I need to join it to the domain. And also, to allow this virtual machine to take an IP address, I need to take the MAC address and go to the DHCP setting, my server setting, in the DHCP server setting, and put it in the allow filter, okay? Because if you didn't do this, it will not take an IP address, and this is also best practice to make what is called MAC filtering. So you enable only PCs, or to allow only PCs with known MAC address to join the domain. This can be overcome by something called MAC spoofing, but it's the first line of defense. We can do more security tightening, as they said, but this is the first line of defense. So here is the MAC address of the second virtual machine. Actually, this is done before, but just for revising. So here, to test the Microsoft user visualization experience, I only managed to test some setting I have done in my notepad. Okay, and it's working, but as the documentation say, we can change a lot of things, but as I said before, my group policy have locked some setting. I can't change it. But normally, this is, as Microsoft recommends, it saves a lot of bandwidth consumption on a large network, or for example, if you have a lot of PCs, this is bandwidth saving. You don't need to sync everything at one time. As I said before, you will only sync it piece by piece. For more info, please refer to the documentation for this feature. I have done it in the previous slide, and I have put links for every for every PDF I have worked with. And also, if you need to know the features and the benefits, you can Google it or return to my previous video. Here we are logging to the second machine. So here we will see first if I need to know if it took an IP address, because before joining the domain you need to make sure that the virtual machine took an IP address and it's pointing to the domain controller and the DNS of the domain controller, so it could be able to fetch or find the Active Directory domain, which is transformers.local. Here I'm just checking if it took an IP address from my range. So here it succeeded, but there is one problem here, that it only shows me one DNS server and one Windows server. In previous video I have installed two DNS servers and two Win server, which is the two domain controllers. So I need to go, this need to be delivered to the client. So I think I need to just change the setting of the DHCP server. I will just go to the server options, sorry, the scope options, and then add the second DNS, and which is the second domain controller and the second wins. Okay, just adding the IP address of the second domain controller, which is, by the way, also a DNS and also a wins server. I have done this on the first DHCP server on my first domain controller. As we said before, we have two DHCPs. Okay, I thought when it was in a failover, we did a failover, but the setting wasn't copied to the other DHCP or the slave DHCP server, so I need to adjust it like the first DHCP server. Okay, now we have done this. We have two DNS and two wins, so now we will change the name and restart the workstation to make sure that the setting is changed, or sorry, not the setting, to make sure that the DHCP have delivered the second DNS and the secondary wins. We'll just change the name. As I said before, I have pre-stages this PC when I was creating the computer objects through the scripts in my early video. I have created all of the computers and put them in the CompuBot OU. So it is pre-staged. We just only need to change the name and the computer will go to the correct OU after joining the domain. This is better. Also as a best practice to pre-stage the computers so they will go to the right OU. You don't need to move it, for example, the default computer OU in the Active Directory and put it in the OU that you need. So it's better to pre-stage the computers. Let's pass it quickly. Here is the tweak that we have done before, putting all safe modes and everything. Here if we return to the domain controller, we can see that the name of it took an IP address which is 192.168.2.11 We can refresh. We will see that the name of the computer will be changed. Here we go. It is changed already. So now we need to join it to the domain and begin testing our Microsoft UE-V. This is abbreviation U for user, E for experience, and V for virtualization. Okay, we will use this abbreviation a lot. Microsoft UE-V and Microsoft Labs. Labs is the abbreviation for local administrator password solution. So we will test Microsoft UE-V and Microsoft Labs through joining this workstation to the domain and test both solutions on this workstation. Here we can see if the second DNS and the second wins will be delivered to the client after changing the DHCP setting. This is critical. You have to have redundancy to have two DNS and two wins for redundancy. So if the second or the first DNS failed, there is a second DNS working. Yes, here you go. We have two DNS and two server. And actually, we have two DHCP also, but he is only seeing the first DHCP or the second DHCP, but we have another DHCP. It is working 50%. If you saw the failover setup, we have 50% for the first DHCP, 50% release the IPs, and the second have also 50% of releasing amount of IPs. Everyone release or issue 50% of the IP pool between the first DHCP server will have 50% releasing or issuing of the IPs, and the second have 50% for the other or the remaining of the IP pool. So here we have changed the name, and then we joined the workstation to the domain after giving the admin credentials, domain admin credentials, to authorize the computer to join the domain. This is a process we have done before, but just for revising. Okay. Okay, sorry, because my battery was off, need to be charged. So here we will see the profile of Arnold. This is the one that we need to test it on the new joined workstation. We will see the package setting. Here we can stop for a moment. Here this is the setting that will be synced to the new virtual machine or workstation. Desktop setting is transferred with us. The access setting will be transferred with us. Cortana, if there is something in the search, Cortana, and Notepad setting, and the themes of the Windows, all of these settings are transferred with us, okay, to the new workstation with the user. Okay, and you can see that there is a profile named HP100 8100 EPBC-bot1. This is the name of the first machine that the user profile has logged into. When we log into the second virtual machine or workstation, it will create another folder with the name of the workstation. So we have two workstations, okay, with two different settings, and we need to test it vice versa. When we change something in the second virtual machine, it needs to be reflected in the first virtual machine and the opposite. You will see that now in a moment, just taking a small note. As we see, we have changed the notepad. As I tell you before, we have changed the notepad, opening the warp on setting and type some setting in it. You will see if this setting is transferred with us or not. The themes, actually all of the rest of the setting, it is done by the group policy, so we will not see any difference, and actually the user can't change any setting of the Windows because the group policy prevents him from doing this. So we are not able to test anything except of the notepad setting. This is the only thing allowed to the user. But as I said before, I will do multiple videos after that explaining all of the features of Microsoft UE-V. We can click it a little bit faster. We need to go in more details. Let's go a little bit further. Okay, now the machine is just a minute. Okay. I don't know what I am doing here. I am getting to my computer OU, and we will see our, I need to show you that the local administrator password will appear on the computer Active Directory computer object properties. We will see that now. We need to get our name. It's HP 8100 EPC bot 2, because we'll test also, as I said before, Microsoft Labs on this machine. We'll see if the local administrator password will be changed. Here of all, need to, okay, this is the first. If you see the attribute, we can see that the local administrator password and expiry date is still not set. We will use the utility of the Microsoft Labs to change the password, but we need first, I need you to show you that it is not set yet. Let's see, I can get a little bit further. It's not, its name is ms-mc. A bit further. Okay, it's mm. Yes, here you go. Here is the password of the local administrator is not set and the expiry date not set. So we'll use the utility to change the password from the domain controller number 2. And we also do this for the newly fresh joined workstation to the domain. As I said before, here the group policy is in effect. It have changed the administrator to Keraouf. So when I type my name, he recognize it as a local, but as I said before, I have my Active Directory and local administrator user the same. So I'm just putting transformers before the name to make it recognize that it is the Active Directory user account, not the local administrator user account. As I said before, I have put in my group policy that when the computer joins the domain, he needs to change the local administrator from administrator to Keraouf. Okay? As I said, this is best practice to change the administrator to any other name and to disable it and to change the password. The first, changing the name and disable it, this will be done automatically through the group policy. As for changing the password every interval of time, this will be done through the Microsoft Labs utility, which we will test right now. Here, this is the Powershell. This is the one that will concern the Microsoft UE-V. This is the one for the syncing and applying the Microsoft UE-V group policy. So we leave it opened. We will not close it. This is very important for the Microsoft UE-V setting to work. think I can bypass it a little bit further. Okay, this is the setting, the local login script. I think what I'm doing here, let's say, so let's complete our lab now. And we have joined this virtual machine to the domain. We just make a restart to complete the login script because actually the keyboard layout didn't appear and the time zone is still not correct. As I said before, I have made a login script and attach it to all the Active Directory users, so when the user login, the keyboard layout is installed and the time zone will be for Cairo. This is done through the login script. So we can bypass this. Here we will check the second. This is the computer object joining the domain, and we will see also here that the local administrator password is not set yet. Administrator user password is not set, and there is no sorry, and no expiry date for this password. We will change both for PCA and PCP, which is HP 8100 EPC bot 1 and HP 8100 EPC bot 2. We'll change these two local administrator user passwords. We will change it through the Microsoft Labs utility. And change it. Okay, we'll login. Okay, that's it. Okay. So we return to the UVE setting. This is the profile for Arnold. Okay. This is for my user care off. Okay, I have two profiles on two workstations or on the two domain controllers. So here Arnold TI, this is the one that we will log into the virtual machine, the second virtual machine. But I need to log off after finishing this one. Okay. So I will log off. Here we will check if the Microsoft local administrator password solution util agent is installed. Now here it is installed already. This is the utility that will will change the password of the local administrator password. As I said before, it works with conjunction with the group policy. This is the agent, and the setting of the password for the local administrator and the interval of changing it will be through the group policy. Here, as we can see, also this one is for the Microsoft UE-V agent. Okay, that means that it is working and functioning. As I said before, the Microsoft Labs agent will be installed through the login script also. We have done this in the previous video. We have added a line to the login script to install the Microsoft Labs agent silently on a quiet or in the quiet mode. The user will not have any intervene, and it is hidden from the user. Here we will log in with Arnold. This is the user that we have changed its setting on PCA, let's say, which is HP 8100 EPC bot 1, and we need to test it on this new workstation that joined the domain, which is HP 8100 EPPC bot 2. We need to see the notepad setting that we have put on the first machine will be transferred with the user to the second machine or not, especially the warp on text setting. And we will see later or in a couple of seconds if we change it now on this machine the setting again and test it on A machine and B machine. Let's say A machine, this is B machine, we will change some setting and close it and test it on A machine, and now we are testing the setting that we have done on machine A on this machine B. Okay, sorry, I'll pause the video for a second. So let's complete the lab now. We are logging in with the user that we have changed its setting on computer A, and see if this setting will be transferred or will be roamed to this new virtual machine that had joined the domain. The first note, we can say that if there is I have made a text file on the first computer, it wasn't transferred, so this mainly transfers the setting, not the shortcuts. But for the taskbar and the pinned shortcuts on the taskbar, it is transferred. So to fix the problem or to make the shortcuts on the desktop with any files on it, I think we need to make the folder redirection option through the group policy. So let's pass this quickly. I think I'm now joining. Yes, here. So here I will go to the second domain controller and try to change the password of the local administrator on the newly joined workstation to the domain. We will see that now. It is done through the GUI, the graphical interface of the Microsoft Labs. In the previous lab I have showed you how to get the shortcut for this utility program on the desktop. This is the one, admin pwd.ui.shortcut. It is in C program files, labs. Here we will put the computer name. Okay. Here when we tell him search, now this is the new password. We can see now that he gave already. He changed the local administrator password, and this is the password. It is complex, capital letters, small letters, special characters, and more than 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. As I said, or I set up in the group policy, it's 8 characters, and the password expiry date will be 15/5/2020. Today we are 15, or the time that I have recorded this video, it's 15/02. Then it is 3 months, which is 90 days. So now the password is set, and if we go to the Active Directory, to the computer object, this one, the computer object which is named HP8100 APC bot2, right click the properties, and in the attribute we will see that the attribute of the password and the expiry date will be there. So this is a way to change the password through the utility. You can do this through the PowerShell, and I have done it from the domain controller, not from the workstation. So this can be done as a centralized tool. Here we will try to test the Microsoft UE-V. First we need to see that, I said before, in the group policy I have made or enabled the group policy setting to change the administrator to Kera off, the name of the administrator account to Kera off, and to disable it. لا بقول لك استنى شوية جو. So here we can see that the administrator is changed to Kera off. This is from the group policy, and in the previous video I have showed you how to set up this policy. So now if you go to the Active Directory and see this computer object, right click on properties, and in the attribute tab we will see that the password is set with the expiry date. Here you go. This is MC. This is the password, and the expiry date. It is in numbers actually, but it is set. Here I will show also we change it on the computer A. This is computer B, and we will change it on computer A, but after a moment. I'm just making sure it is not set yet. So here this is the user setting. For Arnold, this is the user that we are currently logged in with in the second machine, or machine B. And as you see, there is 2 folders now, one for the first PC that I logged into, which is computer A, which is bot1. This is computer A, and this is computer B. There is 2 folders with 2 settings, okay? In the profile named Arnold, the one that have you logged into now. Sorry for making a restart. I'm just making sure that the setting is working. We will restart again and logged in. Let's pass this one also. So here we will make a new text file, okay, notepad, and we will see here that in the format the warp setting is there. We have done it before on the first computer A. This setting is transferred with the notepad. It is done. So here we will change the font. Here we will type anything in this notepad and change the font, and you will see if we log into computer A, this setting will be transferred with us. Okay, we will change the font. Word wrap is there. We have changed it on computer A, and you will see that in a moment. We will close this machine and open computer A again, but before that we will make some changes here in computer B and see it is reflected on computer A. Okay, let's go more further. Okay, here I will change the font. You will change the font, okay, and type something, and we will see if it will be transferred to the computer A. Okay, you will change it to Cooper, the font, and you will type test. You will save. You don't need to type anything, just change the setting. I will make another text file. You will see that the font, I'm just making sure that the font is there, it's Cooper. So any text document this user will create, this setting should be the default setting. So when we log off from this machine and go to this is machine B, and go to machine A, we will see that this setting will be valid or will be transferred. We will see that now in a moment. Let's bypass it quickly. Okay, now we have closed machine B, and then we will open machine A, which is bot 1. Okay, let's pass it quickly. Okay, and then just let me go a little bit further. Yes, okay. So here, if we open, we'll go to machine. First of all, I will change also the password, local password for this computer, which is SP100 EPC bot 1. This is machine A, like I did in the previous machine. If you want to set an expiry date different than the group policy, the one that you have defined, for example, for 90 days, you want to make it earlier or further than that, you can do it. But there is a policy that we have said that it will not make or leave the password without changing after a certain period of time. Okay, we now log in with this same user that we logged in on machine B. We will return back. Remember that we have changed in the notepad the font and warp option. We'll see it is reflected here. And as I said before, I will do multiple videos for Microsoft user UE-V, because I think we need more in-depth videos to know how we can transfer all of the setting, Windows setting and Office setting. There is a lot of features to be transferred, but we actually took the basic one only. Okay, so now this also the password is reflected. Okay, now this is for the computer B. We will change the password for the local administrator account for computer A. Here it is changed, and also after 90 days, the one that we set in the group policy. So if we check the computer object, we will see that the password is there. It is written in the password attribute, so that means that all of our setting is correct and everything is working perfectly. The agent is working and the rights that we have done in the previous video is working also correctly. And this user, which is the admin, have rights to see the password. So as we see here now, the password is reflected in the computer attribute. So here, if we opened the text file, we will see that the font is changed to Cooper, the one that we have set on machine B, and the warp OK is there, and the font is Cooper. So the setting was transferred with the user profile. On any machine, the setting is there. What is done on machine B is transferred to machine A. So I think, so now I have done something. I have just took some shortcuts out and see if this will be transferred to machine B, but actually it will not be transferred because I have done a group policy that will, if you know the start layout, the one that I did in previous videos, I have put a group policy to make default icons to appear for the user on the taskbar. So this will appear again even if you took these shortcuts out. There is a group policy to put certain shortcuts on the desktop user for any user. So if you change it, it will be returned back. So this will not take effect, so I can just bypass it. Okay, so it will still appear if you logged into the second machine. Can I show you now? We can see here that the shortcuts will still be there. Here we can see that the shortcut is still there. So this is because of the group policy of the default, the start layout, the one that I have done in previous video. It will still take effect. So normally the Microsoft UVE, if you took shortcuts of the user profile, it will transfer with the user, but because I have done a group policy to make a standard start layout for every user, so it will appear again even if you take the shortcuts out. So this is all for this video, and I said before I will do multiple videos concerning Microsoft UE-V, so to take it more in depth and to test it more further. As for the Microsoft Labs, it is working and perfectly. So until I see you all of the next video, see you. Thank you.